Hi, I'm Khoi, a senior at Baton Rouge Magnet High School, currently studying AP Art History, and today I will be talking about the Chugo, or no mask. Now, the no mask was made in the Japanese Meiji era, a period of time spanning the late 19th century, around 1870, to the early 20th century, up about until the start of the First World War. The mask is made of camphor wood, which is a popular tree in Japan, widespread. And the mask was made for plays. Specifically, plays put on at the time were put on by Buddhist temples, meant to convey Buddhist teachings and philosophies, such as a fable would to children in more Western cultures. And the thing about these plays is that they were silent. No lines in these plays. All emotion or action had to be portrayed primarily through action and body language, but also through the mask. Each character would have a distinct face, and with that face they'd have one or two probably more than that, to convey different emotions. Happiness, sadness, anger. And I think the mask here, the one we're studying, this no mask specifically, is meant to convey a happy emotion. We can see a smile, we can see the lips going up, we see high eyebrows, very soft cheeks. There's no real action in the face, it's very calm. All the lines are horizontal. And so that's what makes me think that it is a happy face, but again, it is speculative. And I also believe that this mask is meant to represent an aristocrat in Japanese society. And I can tell that because of the prominence of feminine features on the mask. It has very soft cheekbones, very high eyebrows, no action, there's no furrowed eyebrows, no creases. And it's meant, aristocrats at the time were often depicted with feminine attributes because, again, they stayed inside, studied, so more masculine attributes were saved to contrast with, warriors or your spirits at the time, who would have the furrowed brow, the creased eyebrows, and the dynamic lines of slantingness and very action-oriented faces. Now, this mask in particular was made in the likeness of a popular poet at the time, Ariwa no Nahira, and two attributes that are very specific to the culture are the eyebrows and the teeth. Now, the eyebrows are, if you see them, they're very up high, but they're also very shadowy. They're not hard lines. And this is because of a popular practice in Eastern Asian cultures of shaving the eyebrow and then filling it in that day, or maybe tattooing it in to get your own design. This was fashionable, it's like customization of one's face, and it's seen all throughout East Asia, probably originating in China and then spreading out from there. But the teeth are very distinctly Japanese. If you can see, they're actually black. This was because of a practice called orahyugo that was popular at the time. The practice consisted of just covering your teeth in a thin black film. This was mostly done by higher-ups. Aristocrats would have done this. And the thin black film wasn't meant just to be a fashion statement. It was also meant to prevent plaque decay and cavities, and it did. So, as well as being, fashionable, it was also dentally healthy. But one piece in art history that the no mask shares a lot of similarities to is the portrait and blow mask of of people from Côte d'Ivoire, the Bole people. And the portrait mask, is also a performance mask, although the portrait mask was meant for a dance performance, whereas this one is meant for a dramatic performance. Both are performance arts, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, it is different there. Both have very crisp eyes, representing wisdom. Both have aristocratic noses, long noses, which signify European influence. Again, I said this was from the Meiji era, so the Europeans would have made contact with the Japanese people by, late 19th century, And another particular thing about these two masks are they were only worn by men. The performances put on by the Bole people, as well as these plays put on during the Meiji era, were only performed by men. Female roles in the plays had to be performed by men, which we see also in early Greek theater. It's not a direct inheritance, but we do see the exclusivity of men in performance arts spanning over two different cultures. Major differences, however, exist in the two masks. They're made of very different materials, but that's just mainly a geographic difference. Two cultural differences, which are very significant, are the lack of a coiffure and scarification on the no mask. This is just because male figures in Japanese culture aren't known for having intricate hair, and even female figures, to an extent, weren't portrayed as much or had as much significance on hair, and scarification is just a practice that never really caught on in Japan, never really originated there. But I think what is more interesting is all the similarities. How in two cultures from across the world, we see a significance in crisp eyes. We see a significance in performance art. And we also see how women manage to be snubbed in both cultures. That's my lecture on the Chugo or no mask. Thank you for listening.